Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, or whatever time it is when you're watching this. This is Tom Rook coming to you from the Strathcona Courts in beautiful Medicine Hat, Alberta, to bring to you the second annual Showdown in the Hat Pickleball Tournament. With me today is my co-commentator. I'll let her introduce herself.
And I'm Sherry Biko, and it's been a pleasure talking with Tom about the ins and outs of pickleball, and we're trying to give you some background about the sport as well as bringing this presentation match, which will be very entertaining. We're looking at players with a high level of skill.
Right.
And I'm sure it's going to be a very good match for us.
Right. This will be the best 2 out of 3. This is game 1. And we have from Calgary, this team right here, Ron Dumbarton and Lucy Coffey, and they're playing against the gal that just hit that ball there, Nikki Frank, and her partner from Calgary. She's from Cochrane, and
That's right.
her partner Mike Yee is from Calgary. They have come this way to play in this tournament. That's the level of this tournament. We have all different levels, but it does attract not just the top level people. It attracts all sorts of people. It is presented by the Medicine Hat Senior Service Club. Amongst them, there are several sponsors, as you can see in the background there. One of the sponsors also is Shaw Cable, which we are very thankful for, to spread the word of pickleball, as it were. Okay?
Absolutely. It's one of the interesting things when you're trying to promote a new sport. Of course, everybody's heard about golfing, tennis, but pickleball is a little bit new on the radar, and so we're really glad to have this opportunity to give you a little bit of information about this sport and see if it is something that catches your interest.
If you've never seen this game before, pickleball is played on a badminton-sized court. It's 44 feet long from one end to the other, and it is also 20 feet wide. Okay, you can see that the yellow lines are the boundaries. Okay. And it combines table tennis, tennis, and badminton. That's the way I like to describe it. You use a racket or a paddle rather than a stringed instrument kind of thing. The ball is, I forget how wide the ball is. It's a little smaller than a softball, a wiffle ball size. It's hard plastic with 17 holes in it, which slows things down. So unlike a tennis ball, which is rubber and bounces very high, and when you hit it with a tennis racket, it will come along really fast. This one, even though they look like they're going fast, is nowhere near the speed of a tennis ball, and therefore makes it a lot easier for all ages to play, from even young people like an 8-year-old or 11-year-old, etc. can play this, or people, well, what did you say, Sherry? I think earlier on you mentioned that it was somebody around 74, 75 who was playing in our tournaments.
Our oldest player, and 13 years old is our youngest player.
Youngest player in this particular tournament, okay?
And he and his father actually was Niall and Craig Weech, who won the men's finals. And that was in the Friday's play.
Oh, okay. So, yes, that's right. That's one now. We've had a 3-day tournament going on here. This is the mixed doubles in what we call Group C pool.
And that's our top group.
That's right. The players in here are just amazing. They're out of a rating of 5.0. We have one that has a 4.0. That's Ron, the tall gentleman there with the blue cap on. And I wouldn't be surprised if Mike had the same rating. He's much younger, very quick. I'm not sure what the gals will be, but for sure they'll be 3.5s, if not approaching the 4.0 level.
Yes.
And that indicates, when we watch these players at the net they're playing, that indicates their level of expertise will show really strong while they're there.
You'll notice a lot more back and forth play because they have the skill to get that ball back, even though it's a very difficult shot that we might not even think we'd have a chance at returning. They're able to return it because they've played long enough to know how to get those shots back.
Right.
One of the things that really is an advantage when you come to play pickleball is if you have any tennis, ping pong, or badminton background, because you have that really good eye-hand coordination.
Eye-hand coordination.
And I've seen players who have played for a very short period of time but have that background really excel in pickleball. They
Right.
pick it up very quickly.
Squash and racquetball are transferable skills that you can use in pickleball. Interesting thing, I've taught some people how to play this game, and when I've taught the squash players, they miss for a long time because they're used to a much longer racket, which of course you don't get there. The racket on pickleball, by the way, is a total of 24 inches. It cannot exceed 24 inches. So usually it's 15.5 inches long from the top of the handle to the top of the paddle, and 8.5 inches wide. That totals up to 24, right? Yeah. Now, sometimes they'll be a little bit shorter. I've seen ones that are only 12 inches long, and they have just a really, really short handle on it, and some people like it that way.
Right.
But the rules simply state you cannot exceed 24 inches altogether.
And there are also paddles that'll come in round shapes,
Yes.
and a lot in the rectangle shape.
Yep.
Different weights, which people will generally try out before they purchase, because sometimes that weight, if it's a little bit heavier, will give you a stronger return, or a little bit lighter may be preferable for a woman who doesn't want to get a sore wrist from having a paddle that kind of weighs them down. So it's really nice when you have an opportunity to go to a paddle clinic where you can actually feel the weight of the paddle in your hand and get a feeling if the shape is the one that you like. So very nice to go to those.
And that would be an interesting thing if we had not just a paddle clinic, just an overall day of a clinic where either locals can teach locals how to play, or we might bring in the likes of a Ron Dumbarton or Mikey to say, here are some tips, here are some ways that you can improve your game, that kind of idea. I've seen this in various forms online, where they call them summits, which is kind of neat.
It is.
And they've been in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Indianapolis, and places along that line. And they bring in, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, there are professional pickleball players. People are playing now for money, okay? That's really interesting. So they'll bring in some professionals. They'll also bring in some really, really good amateurs. We like to think of our game as doing really well, but then when you start traveling around, you will see some amazing players, and I think we're watching four of the best right now here in Game 1.
Yes, they are just very entertaining to watch, and very great sportsmen.
Absolutely.
So.
This is, as I say, a social game. It's also, at this level, very competitive.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that they're still not friends. Probably these people play together quite a lot in their own clubs, etc. Further to the rules, because I know some of you are asking, well, what is this game all about? The gentleman who has the ball right now is Mike, and he's going to serve. His feet cannot step over that line as he serves, and his serve must be have his paddle below his wrist and his wrist below his waist when the ball is struck with the paddle. That's just a rule. If you contravene that rule, the referee over there, Darryl Lockwood, will call you a fault, and you will lose your serve, or possibly even lose your point. He can stand there as a retriever. He can stand wherever he wants on the thing, but the server has to be behind that line.
Okay.
Also, let's see, no, we don't have that angle. Okay, here, Ron is going to serve now, and you'll just watch his serve underneath, so you don't ever have an overhead serve in this game. Also, what you see here is when you serve, you have to serve cross-court. After that's done, it's anybody's game. You can now hit the ball in the air, called a volley, or you can wait till it bounces on the ground, which is obviously called a ground stroke.
Right. And you'll notice too, in the position when the side that is receiving, generally the one that is going to be receiving is standing behind the back line, whereas his partner is very close to the kitchen line.
Right.
And we're told to stand actually as close to the kitchen line as you can, because that will, and that's because you want your partner to be coming up to the front as quickly as possible after they've received that first volley, and joining you so you can start to control the net, which is where you have the more strong
and if you and
power.
your partner are standing right up on that kitchen line, that's the line 7 feet back from the net on both sides. That's called the kitchen line. And we'll explain that in a minute. If you and your partner are there, you're forming a wall, okay? And people say, well, they can still hit it down the middle or whatever, but it's up to your reaction to block that shot. And if you're within 6 to 8 feet of your partner with an imaginary rope tied between the two of you really, really tight, you're going to create that wall, as Ron and Lucy are doing right now. And they're keeping their opponents farther back.
Pushing them back and trying to take control.
Farther back they can keep your opponent, the better, because the ball is going to be dropping at your feet, which is harder to retrieve than the ball, say, in the middle of the air, where you can hit the ball. That's why you want to get up. I like to compare it to a goalie coming out to stop a breakaway. He comes way out in his net to cut down the angle, as they say in hockey. This is the same principle. If you get there, oh man, that Ron plays a wicked
wonderful
game.
game. Just wonderful.
And Lucy's not too shabby herself getting those balls back.
A nice slam back by Mike.
Right.
Very good.
He even, his partner let him walk over there to get that ball, and he knew exactly what he was going to do with it.
That's
she
for
didn't
sure.
mind at all.
No.
That's communication. They're probably talking an awful lot to themselves, amongst themselves, or pardon me, between themselves, correct English, Tom.
Right.
So that they know where each other is at all times and what they're going to do with the ball.
You'll also notice that some of the shots are just dribbling over the net. They've hit the top of the net and they just fall over. Those shots are wonderful if you're able to get them. Wonderful only though if you're the one executing them. They're very difficult to return when they've just dribbled slowly over the net or across the net. So that's an ideal shot. The only time it is a problem is if you are serving and you hit the net, and you will be allowed a reserve as long as it falls into the correct court area. But if it falls into the kitchen after hitting the net, you will lose your serve.
Right. Now, that's like in tennis, it's called a let when it hits the net but still stays inbound, shall we say. Okay. Now, Mike and Nikki just lost their serve there, so Lucy is going to be serving. Ron can stand wherever he wants. Best he stands behind the line, because the return serve has to hit the ground first before they can then start to volley the serves, or volley the ball.
So you don't want to be standing too far up in the court and suddenly have a very deep shot that you're unable to return, or that you're going to hit without that initial bounce and then lose the serve because it is then termed an air ball.
That is an interesting concept. Now they're volleying here. No, he let that bounce, so that's ground stroke, but this is the amazing part of this level of play, how quickly they react to the ball. Ron is cursing himself there because he missed one. But as you can see, smiling. He takes it all in stride here and is still smiling. He knows that he's not going to be perfect, nobody is, but he will have a chance to get back. There's no sense beating yourself up. The shot is over, so you might as well get on with the game.
Oh, a nice shot by Mike.
Right
just catching the end of the court.
That's right.
Ideal when you have both of your opposition close up to the net. That's what you want to get.
Get down the middle. A higher percentage of points are scored down the middle rather than the shots that you might think are so good down the line, or angle shots or whatever. Your better chance is down the middle.
And they are very, very successful most of the time.
On that particular rally there, you saw that Lucy and Ron were up at the line, and these two folks were kept at the back. So Lucy returns it deep there, keeps them at the back, as you can see there, and that's what happens when When you're forced to go down or bend your knees to get a shot, your chances of getting it over the net are
reduced.
Are reduced, yes.
Yes. So
Now,
it's like any game that you're trying to get control of the play as much as possible.
That was Tim Jacobs.
I just saw Tim too. One of our lovely cameramen.
That's right. And Kerry Buss is on the other side. David G is in the truck. Shaw Cable is bringing you this pickleball tournament from Medicine Hat for your viewing pleasure. And if you're really interested in this game, or you're getting interested, and believe me, once you start playing, it's highly addictive, come on out. We are the Medicine Hat Senior Services Pickleball Club. We play Monday through Friday down here at Strathcona Courts, right behind the Strathcona Pool. And we also play Tuesday and Thursday evenings. And we have special occasions on Saturday mornings. So it's usually from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. And it's what you want to do. We will teach you how to play. As a matter of fact, let's just review what we do on our Monday to Friday, Sherry. What do we do on Mondays?
Monday we generally have an open day, and that just means people coming to the courts and playing. Whoever calls you over.
Right.
It's very, very nice, friendly. You'll have a variety of partners. Then on Tuesday, it's a skill level day. And so you come down and put your name in a group that you think is matching your skill level. Say 2.5 up to 3.5 is generally what we have.
Yep.
And that way you're going to be playing people who have a very similar level of play to you, and it makes for very interesting competitive matches.
Right.
Then on Wednesday, Tom leads us in a beginner's teaching play.
Yep.
And if you feel that you don't need lessons,
you go right ahead and
you
play.
can just go right into
I will
play.
take the time to teach you or coach you.
Right,
You
or
know,
coach
you might be
you.
a regular
Exactly.
player, and you can, by all means, I'll give you some tips and what you should be doing, where you should be standing, that kind of thing. Or if you're brand new to the game and want to learn it, we can start there as well.
Start
That's at
from
9
the
o'clock
beginning.
on Wednesday mornings.
So that's a great day to come if you're just learning the game and have lots of questions and want to get everything figured out. Then on Thursday, we have ladder play, and that is where the participants are going to sign up, and they are going to be matched through a computer rating to put them in the group that most suits where they are.
Yeah.
And
It's a
in level of
progressive thing,
play,
right? Yeah.
exactly.
It's a progressive thing which goes from week to week. So I happen to run the ladder, and I keep track of everybody's scores. You play 3 games, and the games go to 15 in that particular case. So you have a possible points of 45 points. You make a certain percentage of that. I keep track of that from week to week, so you know exactly what you're doing. As an example, our leaderboard right now, the gentleman that's leading the top of the ladder, shall we say, he wins 85.5% of his games. Or pardon me, he scores that many. Man, that
what
was
a
almost
great try. Great try,
Sometimes
Ron.
we get involved in this game here, which we should be. Anyway, so I keep track of all that over the season. So we've done about 13 weeks worth of that, by the way, on the ladder play. And it's a great way to know where you are. But because of your position in the ladder, you're usually playing again at your skill level. So you're not too frustrated with a really, really good player who will just slam it to you and you get very frustrated because you don't know how to return it yet. That doesn't work with ladder play. And then Friday is one of my favorite days because it shows you the social aspect of pickleball. It's what we call card play. Everybody is given a card with a list of different games, and you play for 10 minutes, and then you switch partners. And it doesn't matter whether you're a 4.0 rated out of 5 or whether you're a 2.5, you end up playing together maybe, or else it's nothing to do with your rating. It's all to do with socials. And we really don't care what the score is. It's all for fun. And you still play according to the rules, but it's all for fun. If you miss something and nobody was sure whether the ball was in or out, we just reserve the ball and don't worry about it.
It's very casual.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun, and it really gives you that great opportunity to meet more of the members and and just have a great time with everybody, because it certainly is not that more competitive level that you'll see on skilled day or ladder day.
Yeah. This game is a very long game, and the score is just so close. These people are evenly matched. There's going to be a winner of game 1 and possibly game 2, and we're not sure whether it'll go to game 3 yet, but we're sure we're going to have 2 games. Right now, this one's really, really close. And so Mike is serving to Lucy, and the referee is saying right now, he said, oops, the referee has... Oh, no, apparently he was not the right server.
Okay. And that happens at times where you're not sure who served the last one, and that's
what the referee's for.
That's what the referee is there for, and he makes sure everybody is having the correct 2 player shots on each of the serves.
Each team gets 2 serves. Okay.
And that was one of the things that is very interesting too. In pickleball, your first serve, the server is called number 2. And that normally when you're doing your score, you're giving your team score, the opposition score, and you're either player number 1 if you're first and player number 2 if you're second. But if you are having the first serve, you will always start with player number 2, and that will be announced in your score. And that's just so it doesn't give either side a real advantage.
To serve, right.
For serving,
now,
exactly.
These games start in a tournament either through a flip of a coin, or in our particular case, the referee has numbers written on the back of his score sheet and asks one of these 4 players to choose a number between 1 and 2. And that means if they choose correctly, they can either start the game by serving first, or they can choose which side that they would like to play on. One or the other, okay? And as Sherry has pointed out, when you start, it's not necessarily an advantage to start the serve, although a lot of people still believe it is. You only get 1 serve. That's why you're called server number 2. Really strange. As I say, the hardest part about pickleball is learning how to keep score.
Definitely.
The rest, as you can see, is relatively easy. You're watching some of the best players in Alberta right now as they struggle to find out who's going to take the gold medal in what we call Group C of our championship, mixed championship. We have Mike Yee and Nikki Frank on the one side, on the left-hand side of your screen, and we have Ron Dunbarton in the blue hat there, and his partner Lucy Coffey on the right-hand side of the screen. They just scored a point. Ron serves. Here's the return, and the return has to bounce before you can strike it. After that, it's anybody's game.
That's right. You can just lob it, hit it right away, or choose to let it bounce once again. Right. One of the things that we're noticing as we're seeing this increased skill level, they may volley back and forth many, many times.
That's right.
And it certainly makes for really very fast and very exciting to watch.
When they're at the net, now they're trying to get to the net real fast. That's why Lucy tried to just drop it over the net there. She wasn't successful, so she lost her serve for her side. Mike will be server number 1 right now on this particular rally. And here, Lucy made a mistake and dropped in there. This game is, as I say, so close. We're probably going to have a winner fairly soon here. We'll just find out who wins this game first. And yes. Mike and Nikki have won the first game, so there'll be a little bit of a break, and then we'll get into game number 2. We'll be right back.
What an exciting match.